What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. And today we are going to be doing some myth busting. What do I mean by that? Great question. Because you see,
according to the internet,
it is not physically possible to install a steering wheel out of an R34 Skyline into a Series 1 R33 GTR. And that, my friends, is exactly what I'm going to try to do today. Now, the reason people say that's so difficult is probably, if I'm being perfectly honest, and kind of a short answer, mostly because spoiler alert, guess what? This does not actually end up working. The internet was right. I was wrong, unfortunately. I thought I could go and figure this out, and maybe the internet was just like being lazy and, you know, didn't want to do a bunch of wiring. Makes sense. Quasi-reasonable. But yeah, it turns out this doesn't actually work. I went and backed this thing out of the garage after it was all wrapped up. And then I got the nice little flashing airbag light as soon as I got to the driveway. So, if you want to watch this and let me know what exactly I messed up in here, because I really do think this will work. I'd really appreciate the help, 100%. I think probably what the issue was is that the resistance in the R34 airbag is different than what the resistance is in the Series 1 airbag. So if you have an R34 or a Series 2 or 3 R33 and you know what the resistance is on the airbag, hit me up in the comment section or DM on Instagram. I'd really appreciate the help. The resistance on the factory airbag was, I think, like 1/10 of an ohm or something. It was super duper low. And then the one on the R34 bag was like 3 ohms or something. So it was quite a bit higher. And I think that's probably what's messing it up. I don't know if that's indicative of a bad airbag or not, though. So, I mean, it is totally possible that everything I did was right and the airbag was bad. I don't actually know, because after hours and hours of searching on the internet, I cannot actually figure out what the resistance on the R34 airbag is supposed to be. So if you know that, like I said, hit me up in the comment section. I'd really appreciate the help. Other than that, without further ado, please enjoy my screw up. Do not do this to your car, because it's not going to work either. And yeah, if you could hit me up, like I said, and you know what exactly I messed up, I'd really appreciate the help so that I could go and make this a useful tutorial for other people, but right now it's not. I got some more updates on the Supra, which I will touch on at the end of this video. Here we go. And I really think it can. Let me show you why. Now, the way an airbag system works on most modern cars is you usually got about 4 sensors, sometimes more, sometimes less. It just kind of depends on the car, right? And these 4 sensors are all connected to an airbag computer. We'll call this the airbag module, right? So we got these things going over here, and if they detect an impact, okay, like a rear end collision or front end collision or something, they will go and send out a signal to whichever airbags need to be deployed. If it needs to be the driver's side airbag, that signal is going to go over here to the clock spring, all right? And then from there, it goes to the actual airbag in the steering wheel. And then if it needs to go and send one over to like the passenger side airbag, then it'll do that too, or side curtain airbags or whatever, all right? However, with the Series 1 GTR, we have this guy, this little black thing right in the middle of the steering wheel. So in essence, the airbag system on the GTR, on the Series 1 specifically, you have your impact sensors. They all go to the clock spring. All these guys go in here. And then from the clock spring, it goes to the airbag module or airbag computer, whatever you want to call it. And then it actually goes and decides to pop the airbag. What the current plan is, I'm going to relocate this probably up under the dash somewhere. I don't know. I'll show you guys, kind of keep you in the loop with how it goes. But this is a new one here. This is out of a 34 GTST, I think. The cool thing about this is actually got the same airbag plug on this one that it does on the actual GTR too. So if I want to go and spend $650 later on and get myself a nice little GTR emblem in there, I can do that. I've also got this nice little Series 2 clock spring. Now this piece is going to be essential in making this thing work. I don't know if you guys have ever taken one of these things apart, but if you haven't, basically what this is inside here is just a spool of wire. But I'm gonna go through and meter these just to make 100% sure that the stuff that is going out of this box winds up going through the clock spring to the appropriate pins out here on the other side, so everything works. And then we can have a fully intact, functioning airbag that's gonna look 1,000 times better than what is currently on the car. I gotta say, I'm super pumped for this. This thing looks awesome. Side note, I also got some new switches for the car too, so we're gonna go ahead and install those while we're at it. If you need part numbers for these, by the way, this is the one without the rear wiper, because my car doesn't have one. There's one of the switch assemblies, and this here is the other one. Hopefully that all made sense to you guys. Quick disclaimer here. I don't know if this will work or not. It should in theory. So if you're following this as a how-to guide, probably don't do that. I'm not going to be responsible for if anything happens to you in an accident or anything like that. So this is not a how-to guide. This is merely me documenting my experience with the process. let's get to it. Obviously, first things first, we gotta disconnect the battery. And pull off these 3 covers. Pull the 2 connectors down here, and a couple of T50 security bits. And out pops the airbag. This is obviously a little more broken than what I thought, because that definitely came apart in like 6 pieces. It's a good thing we're getting rid of this. Next up, we got a 19mm bolt right here. Now, depending on the car, this thing may or may not come right out. I generally go and leave the last couple of threads on here, try to give it a good yoink. This thing's probably been on here forever and a day, so I doubt very highly it's gonna go and come off. What I'm gonna do next is pull these 2 screws out. We got one on this side, one on this side. This little black thing should give away, and then if you look right up under here, there's a couple of threaded areas where I'm gonna go and put my pulley puller so we can get this thing the rest of the way off. A little wiggle, and we're done. Now that I have the steering wheel off, next thing I'm gonna be doing is pulling these screws out from under the column here so we can get these 2 pieces separated. Then I'm also gonna be going and pulling this guy off right here so that I can get access to the wiring that goes from the back of the clock spring all the way down the rest of the column here. All right, so for the steering column, we got 4 up here, we got 1 over here, and there's actually a 6th screw down in here. I don't know how well the camera's picking this up, but basically there's a hole right here. Just shove your screwdriver all the way up in there, and then there'll be a screw that attaches right here. All right, so it looks like we got 1 connector right here that goes to this brown one. For this one, the clip, the actual like thing you need to push is right here at the base of my thumb. And that one will pop out. And then we got another one over here. And then it should just be 4 screws all the way around. For these, by the way, after I pull this out of here, what I'm gonna do is zip tie it so it's in one position. That way it doesn't go and wiggle around a whole bunch. Just because if I do wind up needing it again, then the last thing I want to do is have a broken clock spring here. That would kind of suck. So just make sure you zip tie it to go and keep it in one place. So here's an interesting kind of side note here. This appears to be the factory wiper stock. I mean, you got this here. It's in pretty good shape. Not too bad. A little bit faded. Nothing crazy. Now, I don't think this has ever been replaced. I can't imagine why anybody would need to go through and replace this. But if you look over here, it appears as though that's only an indicator for a front wiper. But if we come back here, yes, I know my car's filthy. Sorry, I got rained on. Yeah, there's definitely a block off for a rear wiper. I don't know if that means maybe it got replaced, like the rear glass got replaced, or what happened there. But yeah, kind of a weird thing. If you guys have any input on that, maybe you know why, let me know in the comment section. I really appreciate the knowledge. Now, if any of you guys need to go through and replace these switches here, once you go and get this thing pulled out of there, you just got 2 screws, kind of 1 on each side, and then this thing should go and pull right out of here. So both sides, kind of the same deal. Out with the old, in with the new, and man, this is gonna pair so well with this new wheel. Oh, I can't wait. That is gonna look so good. Hey, here's a bonus. Look what I found. Here's the turbo timer. So I knew I had this. This thing actually goes and connects up like right over here. I just had no idea where it was actually sitting, so I kind of thought maybe it was part of a security system or something. Apparently not. It was just sitting right on the other side of that guy. All right, well, now we got the fun part we got to do. So this is the old clock spring, and this here is the new one. I am thinking that more than likely this right here, this white connector is going to be for the Hicus. So if we come over here, we can see that the 4 wires basically just go out of this to this one single bit. They go and plug into the airbag module thingamabob. This bit right here actually goes and plugs into the airbag itself. So as you can see here, we got blue wire, green wire going to the airbag, and then red wire goes over here to the horn. I need to go and use the multimeter to figure out which one's supposed to be the blue wire, confirm that the green wire is in fact the green wire still for the output, and then figure out which one of these is the horn wire. And then once we got that squared away, we can come over to this side and figure out which one's one's supposed to go where, and how we're gonna go about connecting these so that I can go and relocate this little magic box right here. All right, sorry in advance. I do this thing sometimes where I just get like hyper focused, and that's kind of what happened this time. I kind of fell down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Let me explain. Right here is the inbound and outbound from the chassis harness itself, okay? So we got the 4 pins in, and that is spliced right underneath the steering column right now. That goes around this guy to this pin right here. That pin goes and plugs into the bottom of this guy. Then these are your outbound pins. These go and connect right here. Goes back around the little circle over to this. Now this goes and connects his little brown Lego connector, goes up the back of the clock spring, airbag, horn. One other thing I'd like to point out is that if you'll notice, the green connectors right here, and then also the inbound 4-pin one, all have the signal pointing in that direction. Hopefully you can kind of half read my chicken scratch here. Basically the body harness has 4 wires going to it. You got the black and blue wire, there is a red and blue wire, there's a black wire, and then an orange wire. Weirdly, that goes and transitions at this brown plug right here and becomes a brown wire, white wire, black wire, and green wire. All these go across over to the airbag module, and then you have the 3 outbound wires, go to the black wire, black and blue wire, and red and blue wire, and then it goes to the brown connector. From there, it goes up and through the clock spring. The black and white wire are gonna be the airbag one, just like it is on the Series 2 and 3 cars. And then the red wire is gonna be our horn wire. Alrighty, so we got all the wiring in. The airbag module thing is underneath here. It's actually probably more like underneath here. We got that going over here, up under here. I tried to pin it up a little bit. I'll probably throw another couple zip ties up on here, just kind of pull it out of the way a little bit more. But yeah, it's connected here. The Hikers connector over on the other side went on no problem. And now we just get to go and install the wheel. All right, let's at least go ahead and get this thing bolted on, get the airbag installed, and see how it looks. Look at that. Got a nice pretty steering wheel. I'm gonna get the airbag installed. I'll be right back, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. And there you have it. I gotta say, I'm absolutely thrilled with how it came out. This is way better. I love how it feels. The grip and everything on it is fantastic. Aesthetically, it looks a lot better. I do think I'm probably gonna go and swap it out for a GTR airbag at some point. Probably not right away, but eventually I definitely like to. This is part 1 of a probably 2 or 3 part series. I haven't decided yet. In the next episode, we're gonna be going through and doing a stereo system as well as the Nismo cluster and submeters, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Other than that, guys, I will see y'all very soon in the next video. Alrighty, so that was that 2-day journey. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's a resistance in the airbag problem, or if the airbag is bad, or if the airbag box that I wound up relocating is just looking for a different level of resistance, and the ones in the R34 is actually higher, which is why it doesn't work. I don't know. If you do know the answer to that, hit me up in the comment section below. I'd really appreciate it. I couldn't find it on the internet anywhere. Everybody just said, oh, this doesn't work, it can't be done. So I figured I'd try it, and it turns out they're right. Anyway, I did also promise you guys some updates on the Supra, so let's go ahead and talk about those really quick. I got a bag of buckets for the cylinder head. After that's done, we're gonna be going and slapping that back on this guy. This is a short block that we got back from the machine shop, and then throwing all of this mess back on here, in addition to a couple other bits from Sound Performance, some battery relocation, and a new exhaust since I sold the Veil side. All of that is going to be coming in the next couple of months. There is a whole lot of work to do. I also got some more parts and stuff for the 33 as well that I'm going to be installing. I'm hoping to have this thing done and ready, and by this thing I mean the Supra, done and ready. I'm not even going to put a timeline on it, because every time I put a timeline on it, it winds up biting me. I got everything we need finally. Parts these days are taking anywhere from like 4 to 12 months to finally get here, which is why I wasn't able to do a whole lot last year, and I wasn't able to travel a whole lot either to events and stuff, because rental cars were just insane. Like, I'm talking like $700-800 just for a weekend. It was crazy. So hopefully 2022 is a new year. That'll bring prices and everything like that for rental cars down. Here it says in fine print. And like I said, I got all the parts and everything I need for the GTR, do that stuff, as well as the Supra, and get that all dialed in. And I don't think I forgot anything, which means I definitely forgot something. I just don't know what it is yet, and I won't find out until I go to put this thing all together. So stay tuned for that stuff in coming weeks. I'm really excited about it. Hope you guys are too. I will see y'all very soon in the next video. Catch you next time.